All right, thanks everybody for joining us for another edition of Community Matters. We have a couple of topics that we're going to talk about. The first one being Durham County's aging fair that's going to be taking place. Durham County's population is aging, with baby boomers making up now about 22% of residents. And in the next decade or so, people over 65 are expected to really outnumber those children under 18 years old. And joining us now is Mr. Travis Williams, the Assistant Director of Aging and Adult Services. And thank you so much for chatting with us. We appreciate you taking a few minutes with us.
Thank you for having me, Rod.
So let's first start talking a little bit about the Aging Fair, the Aging Gracefully Resource Fair that you all are going to be having. What prompted that, and why now?
Well, like you said, Rod, we realized that the population is aging, and our community, Durham County community, actually is a fast-growing aging population. And so, what we realized is that we need to make sure that people are aware of services that are available for our senior population. Not only that, caretakers. There are people that are taking care of their family, taking care of loved ones and friends, and we wanted to make sure that everyone has this information. And so, when we started brainstorming, we were thinking, what's the best way to get this information out to the community so that everyone would know? Because so many times we hear stories of people who are impacted by someone, a loved one that they're taking care of, and they don't know where to go or who to turn to. And we have resources for those families. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware of those things, and we felt this is a good time to do it. Let's plan it. Let's try to set a time to be able to do this for our community because again, the community is aging gracefully, and we want to make sure they have that information so that they can age gracefully and have all the resources that they need to be able to stay safe and secure in their homes.
So, how does this event then reflect the needs of what you're seeing there in the Durham County area?
I believe it reflects the needs and that information is key. So if you know where to go, you don't have that anxiety about you trying to figure out how to navigate through the system. Where do I need to go? It's actually better to know where to go and what to do because it saves time. It actually saves time. It actually gets the person the services that they need quicker because if they're in a critical situation, they need those services fast. And so if you know firsthand where to go, that saves time. And it saves, to patience, and it gives the person, again, like I said, what they need quickly.
Let's talk a little bit about uh, what you all do, this your services and some of the things that you offer in general. Then we'll talk specifically about the fair.
Okay, so my division, which is Agent on Adult Services, we offer a wide array of services. We start with Adult Protection Services, which is APS. If someone recognizes abuse or sees an elderly person or disabled person being abused, we offer that service that they can contact us and we will come out and do an evaluation to see if that's actually happening. We also have a guardianship program for those persons, again, seniors and those vulnerable adults that are disabled who lacks capacity. And so what we do is we assess those cases and actually the county becomes that person's guardian. Special assistance in home, whereas people want to live in their homes, and we're able to provide services to those persons as opposed to having to go to a facility or a nursing home and things like that. So a person can stay in their home and receive services. We also have program Meals on Wheels. Again, those are for seniors and persons that can't get out. So, we can deliver meals to those persons. We have a crisis team that offers rental and utility assistance throughout the year for those that have experienced a short-term crisis, and we can provide assistance to those. So those are our main programs.
Mhm.
But again, we offer like I said, those are the main programs. But we do offer other services that people can qualify for. They have to come in, and hopefully this fair can get that information to them so they know what's available.
Yeah, I was going to say, how vital is it to the people you serve? I mean, I could imagine if you are, homebound and you feel like there's kind of no hope in your despair, that you guys are there to be able to kind of fill some of those gaps.
Right. So our team is consists of social workers. So those social workers will go out and assess and do those home visits to determine the needs of those clients to
Mhm.
make sure they're getting what they need. And so it's a live person that come out and actually talk to those clients to assess and be able to deliver those services. And they maintain those cases as well. So we have some cases that have been with us for years. That's because our social workers have developed their rapport and their relationship with them so a person is never really alone. They have someone they can talk to and be able to, let them know what's going on so that we can provide whatever assistance that we can.
So specifically the fair, then they'll be able to kind of see a little microcosm of all that you do in one place.
They can see also, yes, definitely. They definitely see what we offer with
Mhm.
our division, but we also have a lot of community partners that are coming in to show what they offer as well. So I mean, DSS, we work as a collaborative partner with everyone, with partners, so that if there are things that we may be limited in that we can't help out, then we have someone that we can refer someone to. We can say, hey, try to go here. You may need to go there, and that's why we wanted to have the fair, to have everyone here so that they can see. DSS is their main partner, but we also have partners who can actually help with provide those services as well.
We're going to talk about again towards the end the location, the time, but go ahead and give people now an idea of when it's taking place, where it's taking place, and if they need to register, what they need to do to be a part of that.
Okay, so the fair will be Thursday, June 12th, here at the Human Services Building located at 414 East Main Street in downtown Durham. And it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event is free for the community. We did pass out flyers that you could scan we had a Q code on it, QR code, I'm sorry, and you can scan that to register. But for the most part, there is no fee to register. Again, the public is welcome. We just ask that you come on in, sign in, and hopefully get some information that you and your family need and enjoy the fair.
And to be perfectly clear, it's not just for people who need the services; it's for caregivers, right?
For caregivers, anyone who may need, it just may be for someone who just want to know. Because if you have elderly parents or you have someone that's going to get an age, if you have someone that's vulnerable in your family, you may just want to come get the information. It may not have impacted you yet, but it's always best to be proactive. And, again, it's for the community.
Is there any one particular area that you want to focus on? A lot of talk has been made about Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and all those things, especially with the bill that's lingering now in the legislature. How are you addressing those kinds of issues?
We're taking it one day at a time, Rod, but we're
Mhm.
also being proactive as well. We're listening to our federal partners, we're listening to our state partners, and keeping our partners aware of what's going on. And we're trying to take that proactive stance that right now, nothing has been cut on our end. And
Right.
so we're trying to maintain that.
Mhm.
And we're hopeful that, nothing new, is going to change in that area. So again, we're reassuring our partners in that area. But again, the fair is going to have all that information there so that people can be able to get that information and kind of be able to make their own assessments because right now it's uncertain, but I will say that as of right now we have not cut any services.
Yeah, I know it's a scary time for seniors and people who just don't know what's happening. And it seems like I would say day to day that it's changing, but it seems like hour to hour things can change. So I would imagine this is an opportunity for people to come and just sit down and talk to somebody face to face and get some kind of answers, whatever they could possibly answer at this point.
We can try to give, we definitely give as much as we can. I don't know, we can give those specific answers a person may like, to want to know, like, is it or is it not? I can tell you right now that it has not happened.
Yeah.
And we hadn't received any, correspondence that it's going to, so
Mhm.
we're hopeful that what we provide to our community is going to stay, constant.
Yeah. I can tell you, having an elderly mother and being away from her, it's difficult. When people, just yesterday, I had this conversation with her about someone calling from an insurance company trying to get her to change to a different insurance company. And I managed to talk her into understanding that she doesn't make any of these decisions and just tell these folks to talk to me, and that'll scare them off sometimes. How are people, what's the best advice for people trying to navigate working with seniors and parents and grandparents even who are having these tough times?
The best advice, Rod, is to everyone is to stay informed and be proactive with your elderly family because those things do happen. We know that there's been a rise of scam artists targeting our elderly population, which is so unfortunate. But we have to be able to let them know that hey, these are some of the steps that you do. Don't say yes on the phone to someone. Don't agree to anything on the phone because these scammers they're smart. They would get your yes recorded and say that you've done something that you shouldn't have done, and
Mhm.
have a whole issue.
A whole nother set of problems.
Whole nother set of problems. So
Yeah.
again, that's why we have seminars at the fair about some things like this. So that's why we want to really get the information out, because it's all about responsibility to ensure that our seniors are safe. And
Yeah.
things happen because I know I have an elderly aunt, and she's one of those people that like to pay her bills on time. She don't want any problems with the government or anyone else. So if someone call her with a scare tactic like that and say, "Hey, your taxes are due and you need to pay X amount of dollars," she's going to panic.
Yeah.
But it's up for us, all of us, to be able to really work with our seniors to say, "Hey, no, that's not happening. Talk to me. Here's some resources that you can get." That's what the fair is for, to have those resources that you can say, if this happens, contact this person. If
Yeah.
this happens, contact this person. And so we're trying to keep our seniors safe, because again, we're all going to be there in a few years. Seniors
Absolutely.
will be there, so we need someone to look out for us. And we are a community. We need to take care of each other.
Yeah, the conversation I had with my mom. She said this guy called and said, "Oh, they're about to drop you from this insurance company," and I said, "Well, how the heck would he know that if he works for a different insurance company?" She's like, "I don't know, but I didn't believe it." But I told him this, and I said, "Stop telling him anything. Just say thank you for the call and hang up." Is that what for those?
I would just say also, right with that, another advice I would give the seniors is that don't answer those unknown numbers. Just
Yes,
answer those numbers at all. 'Cause
I have tried in vain to tell her to stop doing that. But she still has a house phone, so she thinks this is something that she was getting a call from someone else about something. She said, usually I don't even answer, but they got me this time. And I said, well, don't give them any information. I mean, even the smallest thing, they could take that and run with it. So just say absolutely nothing. What are you hoping in at the end of the day? And is this the first time you all have had this kind of fair?
this is the first time ever we've done this, and we're hoping for a huge success. We want a big turnout because, again, Rod, our primary mission is to get the word out. We want to make people aware. We want the community to know what's aware, what's out there, and how they can get help in those times of need, if need be.
Is there a one thing you want people to be able to walk away with? I mean, I guess that's kind of hard since it's a lot going on, and you want them to walk away with as much as possible. For people who come there, is there one thing like when they leave, you're like, this is the one thing I wanted them to leave with?
I want people to leave that they're not alone. If
Hmm.
they can leave the fair and say that they're not alone in this process. So many times when we get in those situations, we don't know where to turn to.
Yeah.
So when our participants come to this fair, I want them to know that there is help out there. That you're not by yourself. Here is a plethora of places you can go in your situation. That's
Hmm.
what I want people to leave with, and some knowledge about this, some awareness that this is not you're not the only person. You're not on the island by yourself. So
Absolutely.
that is the biggest thing I want people to leave with: awareness and information, and knowing you have resources.
And it could feel like that too, if especially if you live alone and you don't really have a lot of help. And I think it's important too that the good thing that I think you guys are doing is inviting the caregivers to come in because sometimes when my mom called, I'm flying blind on some of this stuff too. Like my biggest stressor was trying to help her figure out her Social Security or not or some Medicaid last year, and I was like, Lord, I don't know what to do. I'm learning as we go. So this is a great opportunity for people to learn how they can help our seniors too. All right, one more time, we'll remind people the Aging Gracefully Resource Fair takes place on Thursday, June 12th, from 9 to 5, and tell us again where it's going to be.
It's located at the Human Services Building in downtown Durham at 414 East Main Street.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time, and we're hopeful and prayerful for a great, successful event, and we'll see you for the second one because I know it's going to happen again.
Yes, it is, Rod, and I look forward to talking to you again. And please, for people like you and those that are being able to spread the word, we really are glad. We're thankful for you all. Please spread the word. Let everyone know it's happening, and they're welcome to come in. And again, we really hope that they get the information that they need, or just be able to know where to go if something doesn't happen. Hopefully, it won't happen. Cross. I hope that it don't. But if it does, you'll know where to go.
You have some help. All right. Mr. Williams, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with another great event that's going to be taking place in our area too as well. So we'll take a little break and be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This next segment is going to be about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a powerful moment in education for this country, in celebration for this country. And there's one celebration that's been taking place for a few years now in Apex. And TJ Evans is here now, one of the organizers of the celebration. Good afternoon and hello, TJ. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that.
What's up, Rod? Always good to join, man. Always good to see you.
So
I'm glad
tell me a
you're
little
here.
bit about the Apex celebration and what you guys have going on and how big it is and what we can expect.
Absolutely. So we're now on year five, which is always fun to share. I can't believe how fast the time is flying. But this year it'll be on June 21st. So we're coming up right to close to 2 weeks away. It'll be from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and it'll be on Town Hall campus in Apex. So that address is 73 Hunter Street, Apex, NC. And man, we have so much in store this year that I'll be here. I could be here with you for 3 hours talking about it. But yeah, we're excited, man. It's gonna be a fun time.
Tell us a little bit about Juneteenth, its history, and its importance.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who may not know, Juneteenth is really what we should celebrate as a second Independence Day in America. So it is a day in Galveston Bay, Texas, where 2,000 Union troops marched into Galveston Bay, Texas, and freed over 250,000 slaves, officially ending slavery. And one thing that's great to note about this was actually 2 years post Emancipation Proclamation. So we know that was Emancipation Proclamation was 1863. Juneteenth, which was June 19th, 1865. So 2 years after Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, we made it official here in the States. So that's what we celebrate. And for us, it's just so much more than that as well. And we could talk about that here in just a minute.
And I know that in Texas, they have been celebrating Juneteenth since 1865. That's been a continuous
Yeah.
celebration for that many years, and it sort of picked up a lot more here in the last few years in other parts of the country. What kind of celebrations can we expect to see when we visit Apex?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. It is a celebration for everyone, right? I know that, just to be honest, like with doing this in the past 5 years, I've had a lot of questions about Juneteenth, right? Like, hey, is Juneteenth just a Black holiday, or how can I celebrate, or how can I be a part? And my answer from the jump has always been yes, it is a holiday for everyone, right? It is really truly what I believe we should celebrate as America's second Independence Day, right? And so the same energy that we have when celebrating 4th of July and all that it represents and how great it is for us in our country, we should also do the same when we're celebrating Juneteenth. And so that's a lot about what we share about in the festival, is the importance of it, right? Spreading awareness of it, what it actually means. But then, two, what can we do collectively together to continue that celebration beyond just that day and spread a message of the best way to move forward in our society, especially during these polarizing times, is to come together, right? And so that's really what the celebration is for us. It's an opportunity to highlight the past, honor those who came before us, right? Acknowledge how far that we've come, but then also, paint a picture that we still have some left to go. And to get there, we have to do it together. And so that's what the celebration means for us.
You typically see people from all races and backgrounds showing up to the event in the past 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's continued. We've seen an uptick every year as we continue to really be strategic on how we market the festival, who we ask to come out and be vendors, and what type of organizations we partner with, right? And so we wanted to make sure that when we market the festival, that we also are marketing it in a diverse background as well. So we've seen some uptick, and I'm excited about it, and I'll continue to do the work of figuring out how we can continue to get that uptick to continue to go.
So let's back up to the very first one. What was that like, and how has that grown in the last 4 years to what we're going to see this
Mm.
time?
Um, Man, going back to that time is always it's tough, but it's also really cool to see how far we've come along. But for me, how it started, it was right after the death of George Floyd, right? And I was puzzled emotionally for a multitude of reasons. One, that was the first time, especially in our community, we've heard about run-ins with the police, and whether it's our siblings or people who are older than us, but to see that happen in real time on a national scale was tough, right? And so how to work through emotions with that. But then shortly afterwards, I started to see people just, losing relationships, man, about which movement you went with, whether it was the Black Lives Matter movement or the Blue Lives Matter movement. And so I wanted to do something in the community that just brought everybody together, right? Because that was my biggest frustration with that time, was there didn't seem to be a gray area for both movements to work together and for both movements to create a solution that would be mutually beneficial for both sides. And so I reached out
Yeah, I
to,
was gonna say, how did you land on Juneteenth for that?
yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
would imagine that would have been as polarizing as some of the other,
Yeah.
conversations you were just having.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what ended up happening was I reached out to a really good mentor of mine, Jock Gilbert, who's the mayor of Apex. And we've been close since I was 13. And so he was a mayor at the time. I reached out to him and I said, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Want to bring, the community together. And so we started wrapping our brains about what we could do. Well, at the time, Juneteenth was right around the corner, right?
Mhm.
And we said, hey, like how cool of an opportunity would this be, right? To be able to throw a festival, really bring awareness to what Juneteenth is. Because I got to be honest, at the time, I didn't know much about Juneteenth, right? I wasn't taught that in school. My family members never told me about it. And so I said, hey, we are in such polarizing times. Why don't we use a festival, bring in Juneteenth, bring awareness to what it is, but then it also allows us an opportunity to highlight the Black community, empower the Black community, and share a lot of the rich history that resides in Apex, the rich Black history that a lot of people don't know about.
Right. And you landed on this festival, and how was the attendance the first time versus just last year, what you were expecting this year?
Yeah. So the first year, I would say, and all my committee members always joke with me because they say I like to fluff numbers up. So I'll try to be
Okay,
honest
give me the
here.
real number
Yeah,
then.
I'll try to be honest here. But I would say the first time around, we probably had anywhere between maybe 800 to 1,000 people show up.
It's still
And
huge.
yeah, it was still a really good turnout. And we were very pleased with that. And then around last year, I would say our numbers were between four to 5,000. So they're continuing to grow every year. The goal for us is again to, because Apex has a 4th of July festival a couple weeks after Juneteenth. And like I feel like it was like 50, 60,000 people there. So we
Yeah.
know people are there. We know they love to come out and celebrate festivals in Apex. And so the goal for us is to get to that point.
Of course, I mean you talk a lot about the mix of fun and education. Are there any specific cultural experiences or elements in this celebration that are built in that people
Absolutely.
can walk away with? I mean, aside from probably eating some really good food, what else can they take with
Yeah,
them?
good eats would definitely be in store for the festival, but there's a ton of community activations that we're excited about this year. One thing I'll talk about is our history exhibit. So we do have an exhibit that talks a lot about Juneteenth history and what that means, but then we also share a lot about, like I mentioned earlier, Apex's rich Black history. A lot of people don't know this, but Apex had a free persons of color community years before the Civil War in a community called Friendship. Apex also has one of the oldest churches, Black churches in North Carolina, that was built the same year the Civil War ended in 1865. And it's called Christian Homes Christian Church, right? And so I can talk a lot about, because there's so much history, Black history in Apex. So I could talk a lot about it, but I would love for people to come out and explore that because it is mind blowing, one. But two, it also creates a cool perspective because a lot of times, when it comes to Black history, on a national level, we've been told the same things over and over and over again. But when people get an opportunity to learn something that's in their backyard, it makes that history more tangible. So that's what I'm really excited about the history exhibit. We have a genealogy station as well. We also have Balcom Elementaries coming out and doing a wax museum with some of their kids. We also have Middle Creek High School who's doing an artwork installation. We have a virtual MLK activation by NC State. We also have Juneteenth Story Hour with the Ava Perry Library, and we'll have a guest artist come in and read her Juneteenth book. And then on top of that, man, we have food trucks, we have vendors, we have bouncy houses, we have live music, we have D1, who's going to be headlining our festival this year. Man, we have basketball court, we have face painting, we have a free haircut bus. I mean, we literally have we have a golf simulator. Like we have it all, man. And so I'm really excited for people to be able to come out and explore. Obviously, I'm biased, but I got to say it here. Like I think we have the best Juneteenth festival in North Carolina. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that.
There are a few of them that will be taking place. I know there's one in Durham that takes place as well. And, I guess the bottom line is there's a little bit for everybody to be able to enjoy. So you don't have to just pick one, and you can go to more than one if you'd like to. Is there still opportunities for people to get involved beyond just showing up? Like, can they volunteer, or do you have room for that? Or,
Yeah.
are you guys set on that?
Yeah, we do have volunteer opportunities. And another way that we always ask for the community to partner is just to share our content, provide awareness to the festival. Because like you mentioned, it's a saturated market, right? Like there's a ton
Yeah.
of festivals going. I know the Raleigh Pride Festival is that day too, and they have a huge festival. So there's a lot going on, but people can help volunteer, spread awareness. And then that information is also on our website, which is apexjuneteenth.com.
What's your hope for the future when it comes to this festival?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. And I hope hopefully my answer isn't too long-winded because I get a little bit passionate here, but it's exactly what the theme of our festival is this year, and the theme is emancipate, right? And I know a lot of times when we think about emancipate, we think about emancipation, right, and removing physical barriers, from our community. But I do really believe that there's still invisible barriers that plague our community and that need some awareness and some tending to, right? And so just being able to address the disparities in our community, whether it be health disparities, financial disparities, maybe it's even educational disparities, right? And so that's what it really is about for us. But then not only uh, bringing awareness to that, but leading with empathy, right? I'm a big proponent of empathy for a couple of reasons. I think one, it really gives us an opportunity to put ourselves in each other's shoes. But then two, it can really be the gel, the bridge, the glue, I guess, really to bring us together despite our differences, right? Like our times are so polarizing, and everything that could be, our differences, right? Like they should be celebrated, not used as a way to divide us, right? And so that's what my hope for the future is that we can step outside of ourselves, we can step outside of our comfort zone, we can step outside of our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, our gender, our age, our race, and we can realize like, hey, like let's celebrate our differences, but let's come together so that way we can truly create a society that is great for everyone. And so that's really my hope, man, is that we can practice empathy in our everyday lives because I truly believe it will make our society a better place.
Once we know each other and realize that so much more connects us than separates us, I think that it
Absolutely.
becomes easier. This is a good opportunity. Hopefully, people will show up. And again, remind everybody when and where and what time.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be on June 21st from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be on Apex Town Hall campus. So the address is 73 Hunter Street, Apex, NC. And we would just love for you to come out. This is really a place where you belong. It's a safe place for you to come and learn more, to come and enjoy and celebrate. And I would love to see you there. I would love to see you there.
All right, PJ Evans, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And thanks everybody for joining us for Community Matters. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Rod, always good to see you. Thank you for the opportunity.